Happy Sunday, everybody. This is Naz, aka The Pup, and I'm bringing you my first weekend analysis video. And this will be basically a news update, a little macro, and 15 plus charts that I'm looking at next week. And I'm not going to do too deep of a dive, but just give you a general overview of what I see happening in the market. And so let's just dive right into it. In March, we were talking about the second coming of the Great Depression, right? How many will be out of work? Um, we'll have bread lines, and it's the end of the world again. And what are we going to do? We've seen massive job losses. It's been week after week of economic data that it's just not rational in respect to what's going on in the market. We're approaching new highs on the Dow, the Qs, the S&P. It's been an incredible recovery. It's hard to fight what's going on. You have to go into each day and each week with no bias. This is a quote from famed economist John Maynard Keynes. Markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. And I think that doesn't speak truer than what's going on today. We have the Fed, Mr. J. Powell, the man of steel, comes in to rescue the markets and pumping liquidity, and that's basically what's been driving this recovery. It's just a massive amount of liquidity, a massive amount of money printing. TARP back in 2008 has nothing on what's happening right now, and I think the implications are really unknown. We're all in uncharted territory. So I think it remains to be seen, and I think we just have to go into each day, like I was saying, with a clear head, with no bias. We're trend followers, and right now the trend is up. So we follow the trend until the end. There's a saying that I heard a long time ago. You follow the trend until they bend at the end, okay? And we haven't had that bend at the end yet. So let's just keep an open mind. And, in regards to this, there is a Fed meeting coming up this week. Mr. J. Powell, the man of steel, these three articles or these three news notes, I'll post a link in the show notes. So basically just goes over the Main Street lending facility, goes over the comments about a better economy, the New York Fed GDP nowcast. And lastly, just hints at some easing of the Fed actions. So, some news that came out this weekend. OPEC and Russia agreed to extend oil production cuts. So we could see a spike in oil prices and energy prices this coming week. So something to keep an eye on. That's obviously some bullish news for the market. I think the long rally will continue for the short time being, barring any other potential black swan events or events that we're just not foreseeing for the moment. So I think that just brings us right into our charts. So I think that's a good 4 or 5 minute overview of some macro news and what I see going on in terms of big picture. So now let's dive deep into the charts. So let's start with the S&P, the SPY. So you can see we're over our 200 moving average, and we're over our 786 fib retracement level. I don't really have that much to say about this. It's just it's just incredible. I think as long as we stay over the 200 simple moving average, I think this rally will continue. It's very likely at this point, barring any bad news, that we'll retest previous highs at around 340. So, something to keep an eye on. We'll probably have minor pullbacks on the way up. we have to watch for a double top, of course. News events tend to miraculously appear around these big events. So, just something to keep an eye on. But things are looking good. The 50 daily simple moving average is swinging up. Could get a bullish crossover, which could propel us higher. RSI is looking like we're in the overbought territory past 70, but that I just see that as bullish. We can stay and remain overbought for some time. So let's just keep an eye on the technicals and we'll go from there. Same thing with the Dow. We're over the 200 simple moving average. We closed just shy of the 786 retracement level. RSI again over 70. Everything is looking bullish. Lastly, we're looking at the Qs. The Qs have been stronger than the Dow and S&P indexes. Naturally, tech has been driving this market for a decade. There's no surprise here. We had a golden cross. 50's now crossed over the 100. My SMAs are getting ready to stack. RSI is just under 70, just shy of 70. So we have some room to the upside is basically what I'm saying. All right, so let's dive deeper into some stocks that are on our radar, some things that we've traded, a couple of things we've exited, but I'm looking for re-entries on, and a couple of new ideas that we're going to bring to the table. So first up is work, Slack, another stay-at-home play. Had earnings this past week. Won't go too much into the details. You guys can look up the details on the earnings, but suffice to say, we had a pretty significant drop from the high of around $39, and we closed out Friday. Not a pretty neutral candle, but I feel like we have this earnings discount gap down. I'm looking for a gap fill play here. We've got about a 12% to the upside. I think the entry could be on the entry into the gap. I think that's where we get in. We can keep our stops under $30. Seems like that, that was previous resistance. That was pretty strong resistance. You could see, we held resistance here, and here, and we finally broke down a little bit, and then we broke out. So I think if we keep our stops under here, we also have this confluence of support, the 50 simple moving, 100, 200, and then I believe this is the IPO anchored VWAP. So, and this is another thing to keep in mind. RSI has been holding over 50. We have bullish momentum. We did not pierce 50 on this downtrend here. So I'm bullish on work going into the next couple of weeks, potentially to get back to those all-time highs. Okay. And next up, we have NVTA. This was my 2020 pick of the year, my stock of the year. It has the potential to run. If you look back here in January of 19, we had this breakout over this level right here around that $20 level, and price just shot right up to $27. So, obviously we broke down, Corona economy hit, and then we just had a massive sell-off to 750. Anybody who bought down here, congratulations, you have gone up probably about 150%. So now we got this symmetrical triangle going on here, just under the 200 simple moving average. I'm looking to enter on a close over the 200 simple. And for specific trade details, I'm going to have some notes in down below, and you can take a quick look at that and join our Discord. We've been keeping it pretty much on the DL. We wanted to continually test out our methods and our trade setups before making it public, and we're not actually ready to go public full steam ahead yet, but we are going to be taking on some new members, so I'll go over that at the end of the video, give you more details on that. But suffice to say, we will have trade setups, support levels, and price targets and stop losses listed. So, but in VTE, I like it as long as we're over the 200 simple moving average. Next up is Crowd. So Crowd has been on a massive run. We had this inverse head and shoulders forming here in March. That was what I was looking for in terms of a breakout of the neckline. We did take this trade and we rode it up to our fourth price target where I took profit and got out of the trade. We did run some more, so I didn't get the full top, which we're never going to get our bottoms and our tops, but if you get that meat in the middle, it's perfectly fine. But look, we've come down and we've retested this 1618 fib extension. So we held it at 90. We're at $93. I'd like to see this over 100. Over 100, I'm interested again. That's a nice round number psychological resistance level. So let's see what we do there. You could see RSI is a bit oversold, but remember, like I was saying earlier, we can stay oversold for quite some time. All right, but we have our 50, 100, and 200 stacked SMAs. So, price can continue to run. CrowdStrike is a security stock. I mean, this is not going away. This can easily be $150, $200 stock later this year into next year. And as time goes on, we're ever in a technology world where internet security is going to be paramount, and I think CrowdStrike is poised to be the leader in this sector. Next up is Snapchat. So we just had a golden cross a few days ago, and seems like we're having a nice flag forming here. And I wanted to highlight these raindrop charts from TrendSpider. In case you guys are new to my feed, I use TrendSpider to do 95% of my charting. I do my executions on Thinkorswim on TOS, so I do some charting on there, but the majority of my charting is going to be done on TrendSpider in terms of the actual technical analysis, back testing, this built-in scanner, and some really cool proprietary tools that TrendSpider offers us. So one of those proprietary tools is the raindrop chart. I'm happy to go over this with you if you have any questions about it. Suffice to say, it's a candle-based chart where volume is built into the raindrop. And so, the things that we look for are these blue raindrops, which could signify a change in direction. And what I like are these, what TrendSpider refers to are these balloon raindrops. And the balloon raindrop basically is volume that is at the top of the close on the raindrop candle. And so what that's telling us is that the majority of the volume in this raindrop is at the close, is at the top. So the left portion is the beginning session and the right portion is the end session. But volume, look at this, holding right above this 1983 resistance, which we've been coming up against these last few days. And we finally broke out and closed above that. So I'm really bullish on Snap. We have our levels projected in terms of where price can potentially go, but this $20 level has been a historic resistance level. And if we have closed and continue to stay over it, I feel like Snap can really run here. So I would keep this on you guys' radar. Next up is Pinterest. I use in my previous life, I'm a designer, and Pinterest plays a big role in the design community in terms of building theme boards and mood boards in every respect, whether it's design, shopping, inspirations for weddings. I mean, it has so many multi-functional aspects to it. I feel like their detractor right now is finding ways to drive revenue. And I think once they figure that out, this easily can be, a 50%, 100% gainer this year into next year. So, RSI is still not quite overbought yet, but we're getting there. But going back to these raindrop charts, look at this balloon raindrop closing right over our previous resistance. So again, we're over the 200 simple moving average. The 50 is coming up and swinging. We closed over this this down trend line, so things are looking really bullish here for pins. I would put this on your radar. Some free levels here that we're giving you in terms of potential resistance up above, and yeah, put this on your radar, guys. I think we have a runner here. Next up is Tesla. Tesla, no surprise to being on this list. Probably one of the most bullish charts since the Corona crash. You know, it went down to $400. I mean, we've doubled in 2 months, in 3 months. So, you know, I think we're headed back to $1,000. I think that's just the reality. Short of a crazy tweet by Mr. Tesla, I think Tessie is headed back to $1,000. It's just a matter of when. If you can stomach the volatility, this is a good intraday play, a good weekly options play, and yeah, I would just keep your eye on it. Over 900, I think we test 1,000 if we can hold that $900 level. Next up is Rubicon. This came up on my radar a couple of weeks ago. Kind of a little upset with myself because I had put in my potential areas of interest. I gaffed. I didn't set an alert, and price just ran on me. So I'm looking to get into this. We closed on Friday over our 200 simple moving average, so that was really bullish. I'm going to look for that to hold next week and maybe get a starter position, have some levels up above for you guys to look at. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on this if we stay and hold over the 200 simple moving average. Next up is Square. So Square is another one. I got impatient. You know, listen, I'm not going to be one of those guys that everything I post, you know, I made money on and I did 100% on options. I mean, no, I'm going to own my mistakes. And Square, this is the second time I've done this where I've gotten impatient on the trade because I like fast movers, and I sold too early. And sure enough, I sell too early. And I think like it was like a week later where, you know, last week where price just went up massively. So, you know, I think over 90, I think we retest the $100 level, which also coincides with the 1236 fib extension, our $100 psychological level, and then our 101.17 all-time high. So I think that's going to be pretty heavy resistance. If you're in this trade, I would look to take profit in that $100 range and potentially re-enter on a close and hold over our all-time high. If we can't hold 100, it could be a potential short back down to the level we're at right now, this $80 to $90 level. All right, and that was a trade plan that I had put together. Of course, I didn't follow my own trade plan, so, you know, go figure. I'm only human. I'm only human, guys. All right, next up is Microsoft. I think this is one of my favorite plays for next week. We've got this ascending triangle going on, a little bit cup and handle-ish. We have this confluence of support down here, or potential support. I think if we hold this ascending triangle, we wait for a break of the 18750 level, the break and hold. I think our next level would be 190, and then we're off to the races. Then we're off to our 200 psychological, 220, 240, definitely within range over the next couple of months. I would do more long calls on here, maybe July, August monthlies, you know, maybe the 190, 200 calls. Haven't really looked exactly at what strikes I would be doing. But I think Microsoft, if it breaks out, I think it's a really good safe play. Next up is DG, Dollar General. We had a symmetrical triangle breakout and a retest. I would look for the retest to hold. Our SMAs are stacked, 50 over the 100 over the 200. So I would look for this to continue to do well. You know, Dollar General, these dollar stores have been a good Corona play. So yeah, I would just keep this on your radar and take it from there. AMD. AMD has been playing games with us. We had gotten in, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. and it looked like it was premature because we broke down from this downtrend line, kind of bought this breakout. Should have exited on this failed breakout candle, but stayed in. But we're holding this 50 moving average. So I think as long as we hold this 50 moving average and this volume shelf, and you guys will hear me talk about this volume shelf. It leads back to my comment earlier about these proprietary tools on TrendSpider. Right here is the volume by price tool. So you can anchor this to a candle and it'll tell you the volume to the right of it, right? So we could see here we have this volume that's based on all the candles to the right of this volume by price tool. And this what this tells us is a couple of things. It could tell us our supply and demand zones for this particular price action zone. It also could tell us if we have a volume gap, which we have right here. And then we have a volume shelf, which we've been respecting. I think if we respect this volume shelf, if we hold the 50 moving average and we get above this downtrend line, I'd probably compound my position and look to test this $58 to $60 level. That's basically my plan for this at the moment. And then last up is Rite Aid. We're in this monster symmetrical triangle. Got a lot of confluence here with our swing high, swing low, anchored VWAP. That's another tool you'll see me use and hear me talk about as well. Basically, if you're familiar with the VWAP tool, it's the VWAP tool, but anchoring to a specific candle. So we have this confluence of the swing high, swing low, anchored VWAPs, the 50 and 100 simple moving averages. I think on a breakout over 1455 offers an excellent risk reward in terms of entry. And yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the weekend analysis, guys. This is my first weekend analysis. I really hope you've enjoyed it. My plan is to continue to do this every weekend, giving you guys at the minimum 15 charts to look at, including the major indices. And I have some exciting news that I wanted to talk about. So anybody that stayed with us these 22 minutes that we're in, the exciting news is we've been building a Discord channel over the last 2 months. We've got about 300 members in the group as our focus group, as our test group, trying to fine-tune our process. I'm a big believer in the prophet Marcus Lemonis, his 3 Ps, people, process, and product. We have the people. We have some really great traders on the team. We have the product. We're working on our process. And so in having said that, we are opening it up for another 25 members to come in. Right now, we are a free Discord, but we are blocking out membership as we grow. We are going to be going to a paid Discord shortly. We're going to be doing a soft launch in 2 weeks, looking to launch fully either mid-July to beginning of August. It's going to be an educational platform first and foremost. There are a lot of platforms out there, whether it be Discord or Slack or some other proprietary platforms. We're trying to differentiate ourselves from what's already out there. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There are a lot of traders that offer these types of services. So really what our differentiator is going to be, first and foremost, is education. And, we're going to be doing signals and call outs. And we're also going to be offering chart services. So it's going to be a 3-pronged attack. Like I said, we've got some fantastic, macro analysis going on, options flow, some really, really great things happening in the channel. So I'm offering up the first 25 people that sign up are able to get in. Like I said, it's going to be free for now. And after that, we'll create a wait list for anybody else who is interested. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Once again, this is Naz, aka the Pup. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. There's going to be more to come, and yeah, just stick with it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I do one-on-one mentorships. I only take on a couple of students at a time, just because I only have limited time for myself. But I also want to give my focus to people who are really interested in learning the art of the chart, learning technical analysis, and specifically for my TrendSpider crew. I have a running joke with TrendSpider and the people who have joined on with TrendSpider. I have my secret spider club. First rule of Secret Spider Club is we don't talk about Secret Spider Club, so I'm breaking my own first rule. But I really love, just to end on this note, I really love the guys at TrendSpider. I think their platform is going to revolutionize how we analyze charts, how we do our technical analysis. They are traders. So their platform is by traders for traders. And I think that is really the key to success. There are other platforms out there, and they do the job equally well. But I've used a lot of platforms, and I've been now on TrendSpider for about 7 or 8 months, and I can honestly say, and I was full on my way to being a good chartist and to being a good technician. But their platform has accelerated my learning growth. So I am their biggest fan. I will be their biggest proponent. And that's not to say anybody that uses any of those other softwares out there are at an advantage or a disadvantage. Everybody has to use their own tools in their own way. But I can only tell you from my experience in using those other tools, that I am a TrendSpider user for now and probably for a very long time. So if you are interested in TrendSpider, I'm going to throw a link down below where you can get a 7-day free trial, and I'm going to give you my personal code for 15% off of their annual plans. If you do technical analysis, or if you are looking to do technical analysis, it can't hurt to just do the 7-day free trial. They've got an amazing technical analysis university where they go over all the different aspects of their platform. And just another announcement that I haven't really made public yet, but I've been made a certified partner for TrendSpider. So if you are a TrendSpider user and you are looking to learn a little bit more about how you can use it or how I use it, let me know. We can schedule a session where I can go over the nuts and bolts of it. And yeah, it's just exciting times, guys. Really exciting times, I have to say. I started this journey in January with just shy of 90 followers on Twitter. On Friday, I passed 3,000. It's really spectacular. The support from the FinTwit community has been amazing. It's really one of the best communities that I've found on any social platform. So my thanks very much to the FinTwit people who are following me. For the people who I follow, that I look up to, that I am trying to model my style around. Thank you for what you do and for what you do for the community. I think, we are all in this together. Maybe we compete against each other in a certain respect, but the reality is we are all up against the algorithms and the robots that are running the show behind the scenes. So if we can look at it from that aspect, we are in this together, and if we support each other, we can all succeed together. And I really think that's a great message to leave this on. So thank you again for your support. Thank you for sticking with this video. I am going to try in the future to keep it under 20 minutes, but I wanted to do this a little longer just to really acknowledge the people who have helped me get here, the platform that has helped accelerate my learning growth, and obviously my followers who support me. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, everybody, and all the best for the markets next week.